Hey everybody, welcome to Forever Pink Live. It's Kyle here, coming to you live from Kansas City. Very excited to be with you all again. Sorry about last week. Daylight savings time threw a little wrench in things, and we're going to overcome, and we're moving forward. We've had an awesome week so far. Wanted to give a few shout outs to a couple teammates. One of our new teammates, Carrie McGee, just joined us last week, and she already has 2 ambassadors this week. So getting those Easter eggs for those of you who are participating in the Easter egg hunt. Very exciting stuff. Jill Height's got another ambassador today. Really exciting. Everybody's moving in the right direction. We're getting close to unlocking those big Easter eggs. So keep bringing on your new friends and family to our team, and we'll keep unlocking those Easter eggs, and we'll keep sending out all these fun prizes. I've got a pile here to go to the post office tomorrow, so I'm really excited to get those out. So this week, as I mentioned earlier, we have an awesome guest coming on in just a few minutes. Stephanie Shaughnessy is an amazing friend of mine. I met her 2 years ago at our first leaders retreat, and she is an amazing person. She's very real, very straightforward, very awesome, and I love her. She's amazing, and she just went Emerald last month, so we are very, very lucky to have her on the call tonight. But you know, while we're waiting for her to join us, I wanted to talk a little bit about personal development. It's something that, you know, whether it gets overlooked or just it's not something that's on people's radars, you know, you feel like you're an adult now, you should probably have things pretty much figured out. But, you know, you're starting theoretically a new career path if you've never done multi-level marketing before. You're possibly delving into a new branch of lifestyle management with health and wellness. And people are looking to you to be somewhat of an expert in the field. You know, just because there's a lot of nurses, doctors, etc. Involved in Plexus doesn't mean that everybody is. It may seem like it sometimes on our team because, you know, we keep bringing in our friends, and a lot of them are in the medical field. But people are going to look to you for advice on nutrition, and advice on gut health, and advice on healthy eating plans and exercise. And they're also going to look to you, if they join your team, on advice on how to grow their team and how to succeed at this business. So I put together a little visual that I'm going to attempt to screen share here. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm going to turn this on. This is a list of books that I have read over the last couple of years. It's not like a huge list, but it's fairly decent. And some of these are compilations. For instance, this, I don't know if you can even see my mouse, to be honest, but this Complete 101 collection is 4 books. This Big Owl library is 36 CDs. So the reason I show you this is because to kind of expect great things from your business, but not be putting into yourself the knowledge, information, and guidance of people who have already done it and been there and been successful in all different facets of life, is almost a fool's errand. You may end up not reaping what you're hoping from all the effort that you're putting in. So the okay, sorry, I'm getting a message from Stephanie that she's having some technical difficulties. So there are 3 areas that we look at or focus on when we're learning and working on ourselves: personal growth, building MLM belief, and business strategies. Underneath these different topics, sorry, I sound like I'm stuttering, but I'm trying to figure out how to help Stephanie get on the call. Hold on one second. For those of you who've been on other calls, this is not the first round of technical difficulties, but we will get it figured out. Hold on one second. All right. I'm going to go back to the book list. So anyhow, back to this. Thank you for sticking with me. So under personal growth, books that you are looking for are books that guide you and build your commitment to helping others. So this can be an inspirational book or something that just kind of feeds you and feeds your desire to help others. Personal growth can also fall into the realm of learning about yourself, whether that's learning what kind of personality you have or learning different habits that you may have that are good or bad. Also learning how to speak, and more importantly, learning how to listen. And that doesn't mean like being a public speaker and getting up on stage and talking, but actually knowing how to speak the language that people are fluent in. Each group of people has a different way of talking and a way of understanding the information that you're giving to them. And if you give a lot of facts and figures to somebody who is not interested in facts and figures, then they're probably going to shut down and not understand what you're saying and not listen. And then personal growth can also be leadership. Being a leader means showing people why you're doing things and expressing to them why they should follow you, rather than just giving them all the resources, but show them how to do things and show them how to be a leader. As far as MLM belief, there are a lot of books on that list that help with dream building, especially Beach Money by Jordan Adler. He talks about coming from working a 9-to-5 that he hated, all the way to being a multimillionaire and living in his dream house. And it's really inspiring to know that people can come from nothing and build up to reaching their dreams. As also, MLM belief builds excitement. It helps you keep your eye on the prize when you're working towards things and you're pushing that big stone up the hill and you're working and working and working. You know that there is light at the end of the tunnel and you will reach that point. It also helps you know that hard work is something that is definitely a part of this business. It's not just a lottery ticket. There is work that goes into it, and there's a lot of information out there on how to do that. And do it efficiently and do it correctly. And then some books in MLM belief building also just validate the profession, because you're going to find, your cousin or your uncle or even your mom or dad that shoot down the profession, and they shoot down, because they've heard, somebody failed at that and they never work and they're all pyramid schemes. So fill yourself with positive energy and positive knowledge in the industry so that you know that what you're doing is not only a powerful, powerful tool to build a safe and strong future for your family, but it's an amazing profession to be involved in. And then the last category is business strategy. And this is, something very successful people have stepped away from their MLM of choice, and they are now giving back to the entire community by pouring their knowledge and pouring their skills and pouring their strategies into books and into webinars and into seminars. So taking advantage of their knowledge and their experience is priceless. So it helps you to identify who to talk to and who not to talk to. It helps you with communication, and what to say, how to say it, and how to present it so that somebody is intrigued by what you're saying rather than turned off. They also give a lot of information on how to present, whether it's in front of 1,000 people in an auditorium or it is across the kitchen table with your best friend from college. They also talk about follow-up and how important that is. You'll hear it over and over again that the fortune's in the follow-up. There are even books out there now about incorporating social media and how to use it successfully to build your business. And then DMO is daily method of operation. And that's just talking about the things to do every day so that you make sure that you're working towards building your business. So if you have questions about books or you have questions about things to seek out, I know a lot of you watch a lot of YouTube videos, and those are amazing because those people, a lot of them are in our business. And so it's really refreshing to hear people talk about what they're doing within our business. But also think about I'll post the book list on the team page, and you can look at that, and we will, sorry, I'm switching back to my camera so I can see what I'm doing. And we can talk about what books I recommend. But Stephanie is on with us now, and I gave her a little introduction earlier, but I am so incredibly happy to have you on the call, Stephanie.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
So I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about Going Emerald and kind of the things that you do on a regular basis or on a daily basis to help yourself continue to grow and develop your team and inspire dream building and action in others. So I want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, well, this is my first time on Google Hangout. I can hear myself talk, so it's a little strange to me. But anyhow, thank you so much for having me. I feel, oh, you must have shut something off or muted yourself. That works. That's perfect.
I'm gonna mute myself so that it doesn't keep flipping back and forth. So.
Yeah, gotcha. No, I am honored that you guys even asked me to talk on your call. I've been asked that a couple times since I hit Emerald, and I don't take that lightly. That is truly an honor. It's my pleasure to just tell you my story and what I've done. And so yeah, I started, for those of you that are listening to me the first time, maybe we've never met or you haven't heard my story. Just in a nutshell, I started Plexus 2 years ago in January 2014 for weight loss. I thought that's all it was. I was watching my friend Lynn Allen post about it. We both had babies at the same time, and we were trying to lose like the last 10 pounds. We had gained over 50, but it had taken me about 1.5 years to lose the majority of it. And I was stuck on the last 10, and I was going through the new mom thing. I was just really exhausted and fatigued. And I just kept telling myself, well, this just must be, what it feels like to be a mom. And I just need to get over this. And I started seeing her share about it, and I reached out to her and tried it. I started with the Slim and Accelerator, and I did that for like 5 months, messing around with it. I was still working part-time. I was full-time when I got pregnant with my son, and I had switched and went to part-time so I could try to work around my husband's schedule. And in that 6 months, I had messed around and gone silver. And so Plexus at the time was sending paper checks, and the very first paycheck I got was just under $400. And when my husband opened it, he literally said, "What is this from?" And I said, "Oh, that's, my Plexus pay." And I don't think he thought I was going to get anything. And he said to me, I mean, in all seriousness, and I'll never forget this conversation, but he said, "If you're just messing around with this, why don't you give it 100% and see where this goes?" And I said, well, I got to order the other products. I haven't tried anything. So I ordered the BioCleanse ProBio 5 and the X Factor. And that, of course, really changed my health. I had a hypothyroid, had a ton of GI issues, and I wanted to punch myself in the face for not starting this stuff sooner. I don't know what I was doing, messing around. So in saying all that, I didn't really start, I don't think, really treating it like a business until June. In June, I went in and resigned from my job. I had been in law enforcement almost 14, 15 years at that point. And an emotional conversation with my chief that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. And, I knew I had 4 years to come back because my certification is good for 4 years, but it was kind of a pride thing. And I told myself, I'm just going to make this work. And I will tell you guys that it took me until I went gold in right before Leaders Retreat. I barely qualified for Leaders Retreat in October that year. And I went senior gold in January. And then probably I hit Ruby right around May and hit Senior Ruby in July. I went to Detroit because 90% of my team is from Detroit. That's where I'm from. And so I flew up there for an event, and that kind of catapulted my team after March that year. So I went Ruby, Senior Ruby really quickly. And of course, we all know the back office, switch over kind of stalled a lot of people. I will tell you that I hovered in the 800 point range for like a good 5 months. And I really had to, even though it was stressful and it was hard and there was a lot of changes and everything going on at that time, I had to just keep focusing on the positive and the fact that, okay, I'm still getting a paycheck. I didn't go backwards. My team's not falling apart here. I need to just keep my head on straight as far as we're going to get through this. We're all in the trenches together, on hold together. We're going to make this work. Plexus is going to make this right. And they did. And my team just flourished. And it really showed me who the strong leaders were on my team too, to tell you the truth, because they were handling it. And so I roll around to January, and I knew it was going to be a big goal to say, hey, I'm going to make Emerald by January, but I wanted to put myself out there to my team and show them, don't be afraid to publicly declare something. Don't be afraid to make a goal, even if you don't make it. The end of January came around, I didn't make it, but it was okay. I made it the end of February, and it just kind of happened naturally. And I can tell you that I absolutely would not be here if it wasn't for my team. I made a pretty ugly cry video and posted it on my team page after I hit Emerald and thanked all of them, because it's truly takes a village to get promoted. But yeah, so I'm just going to share with you guys a couple things I do every day, and then just some things I've kind of changed with my team this year. So last year at this time, if you would have asked me if I'm working my business, I would have told you, absolutely, I'm working my business. I can tell you this time, a year later, I am definitely working the business. I was doing things back then, and I thought it was work. I thought I was doing everything I should have been doing, and I really wasn't. And I think that's why I stalled out a lot. I think that's why momentum slowed a lot and things like that. So what I do now is when I get up in the morning, I don't automatically jump on Facebook. I used to do that. I had my phone right by my bed and I'd get right on there as soon as I woke up. I don't do that anymore. I kind of just, I take a few minutes, get my son ready for school. I always try to make the first post of the day, even if it's a non-Plexus post, but I try to make it something that's positive, that's motivating, and it just kind of sets the tone for the day. I have really spent a lot of time, and Kyle and I have kind of talked about this in the past. Just because of my career prior to what I did to Plexus, I was naturally an introvert and I was not in a lot of networks. I didn't have a lot of friends. So I've really spent the last year really networking as much as I can, getting into new groups, being more active with friends of mine, building relationships. People always told me since I started this is a relationship business, and I really, truly didn't understand that. I thought, well, people trust me, they'll do this with me, which is true. But I had the wrong idea going on in my head when I started this. I was looking at this like it was a sales thing, and it's absolutely not what it is. So when I meet people now, I just kind of, if the opportunity presents itself that I can bring up Plexus, great. If not, I don't. And I just really work on building the relationship with the person. And that's worked out great for me, because I used to stress myself out last year at this time when I meet somebody new in public, and I'm like, how do I work in Plexus to this conversation, and that's not me, and it wasn't natural, and anytime it's forced like that, people see it, and things like that. So I stopped doing that, and I thought, I'm just going to let this come up naturally and the right way, and work on relationships and things like that, and that has helped me tremendously. I'll tell you one thing is I have taken a change of direction in reaching out to people. When I was, pretty fortunate in the fact that 99% of my businesses came from me sharing on Facebook. And I haven't always shared the right way, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. But I've always just in the beginning, when I said I thought I was working my business, here I am posting on Facebook every day. And I thought that's all I needed to do. And I never reached out to anybody. I never reached out to a friend and said, hey, you should do this with me, or I know you need this, or things like that. I kind of had the mindset like, well, I don't want to bug anybody and I want everybody to come to me. And I heard Kyle kind of mention a little bit about negativity and family members and things like that. And that is for sure, because my family, well, actually my husband's family, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law think network marketing is the devil. And that kind of shook my confidence in the beginning. It really did. And but I've had to let that go. And I've learned along the way, the more belief that you build in yourself and confidence and belief in this company and things like that, you learn to shake that off, but it will definitely shake your confidence for sure. But I was not going to let that shut me down. Anyhow, I just last year at this time, here I was just posting on Facebook and never reaching out to anybody. And now, I've listened to so many of the diamonds that I've either met in person or heard them speak on videos and things like that. They all reached out to people who they thought would be just amazing at this, really successful business, but they reached out to them based on their character, and kind of was a light bulb moment for me, where there are friends of mine who I guess you could say are on my chicken list, that I was always intimidated and always afraid to reach out to them about this. And I've been doing that over the last year, and I've had great success with it, and I've taught my team to do it. And so I just would shoot the person a message and say, hey, how are you doing? How are things going? I know you probably, I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, you see all these posts I make about Plexus. I really love this stuff. And I can't help but think of you because I've really grown this business. And somebody like yourself with your character and, your background, your business sense, I think you'd be amazing at this. And I think it would be a lot of fun to do this together. And if you don't want any part of it, I totally understand. But I've thought of you often. And I've had the best responses from that. Even people who aren't interested, they are like, so honored that I said that to them. It was like I paid them a high compliment, and they're like, thank you so much. So that's really helped, kind of build my confidence and reach out to people. And it's got a few people for me who said, yeah, you know what, I've been meaning to reach out to you, or I am interested, or I have not seen your posts, tell me about it. So that's been really great. And I've tried doing that with my team. We've been blowing up the three-way calls like crazy. This was something I did not do in the beginning. I didn't see the importance of this, and now I do. And so we do these like crazy. When somebody new joins my team, I make sure that they are added to the team page, whether they want to work the business or not. I tell them, hey, I'm going to add you to a couple team pages, and this is just for resources, trainings, and support. You can choose to participate or not. I'm going to announce you as my new person. And there's files in there. So if you need any info, you just go right. I've never had anybody tell me no. So that's so important, because Lynn, who I joined under, actually said to me, if Talina had never added her to her team page, she's like, I don't know that I would have ran with this business, because I started seeing people getting promoted and winning these contests and all this stuff. And she just got excited. So we add everybody to the team pages, that's for sure. And one thing I've started really doing with my team is I started doing these coaching calls with them. I'm a talker, and I love to stay connected to my team. And that, like I said, the majority of them are out of state. So I started doing this thing where I check in with one or two of them each week, and I do these 20-minute phone conversations with them. And it's all positive, and I do not let them go off on a tangent about customer service or something. I say, well, we can talk about that later. But we're going to talk about you and your goals, and I want to hear you tell me something good, and I kind of put the ball in their court. Like, where are you at? Do you know where you're at with your points? Where do you want to be? Are you trying to get gold this month, or silver, or senior gold, or whatever it is? And I just try to get them really pumped up. I tell them how much I appreciate them, and we talk about nothing but their strengths. And I'm like, I'm here for you. You're going to do this. I'm going to hang up. We'll check in again. And I have total confidence in you. You're going to knock this out of the park. And that's just really pumped people up, and that does two things. That let me just back up and say, one thing I do too is I ask them, is there somebody out there that you were just totally chicken to reach out to? And of course, everybody knows at least one person like that. And I tell them, reach out to them before I call you next month, seriously. And I'm sure we'll talk in the meantime on Facebook and stuff, but I want to call you back just to follow up with you. but I want you to reach out to that person. And I tell them what I say to people like that. And that does two things. Number one, it puts the ball in their court. So you guys know truly this is your business. You have to run it. You are an individual business. You can be on the best team in the world, but if you're not working your business and you're not trying to accomplish your goals, it's not going to work. You can't blame your upline. You can't blame your team. You can't, you've got to put in the work. So I've learned that doing stuff like this kind of puts the ball in their court. Like, okay, you're going to do this. I'm here for support. I'm going to be your number one cheerleader, but you're going to do it. And not only that, but then when they reach out to these people and then they send me a message back like the next day, oh my God, she responded and said, she's interested, or she responded and she said no, but she was really nice. But now I feel like, Rocky Balboa, because I just feel like, I just took this huge step and got the door slammed in my face, but it was nice. And I feel bad. It's like they get stronger and, it just builds confidence. And that's the kind of stuff that you need to do. You can't sit back and be proactive and just throw stuff out on Facebook every day and say, I'm working my business. What's going on? Nobody's coming to me, because you're really not working it. And I'm telling you, I'm saying this because I was there. I did it. That was my mindset. I'm not bugging people. I'm just posting on Facebook. So I've changed my mindset, and that has changed the dynamic of my business for sure. One other thing I just want to talk about real quick is I've really talked a lot to my team about this. Like the last 6 months or so, we've tried to change the dynamic of how we share Plexus. And this was kind of my pet peeve. I feel like, I know when we all join, I know when I joined and when you guys joined and when everybody joins, we all have this understandable, notion where we can copy and paste everybody's posts, and, but I feel like we've gotten so crazy about that. And I think some people have completely gotten to like this Plexus, I call it the Plexus robot mentality, where that's all they do is copy and paste posts. And I'm friends with this person. They're on my team, but I can't tell you one thing these products do for them. I can't tell you what their why is. I can't tell you what they're passionate about, because they're just sharing everybody else's posts. And if you think that people out there, John Maxwell does this. I mean, he's got an amazing, and I forget which book it is in his, but he talks a lot about the law of attraction and magnetism. And I feel like when you just kind of put all these Plexus posts out there that really don't have much to do with you, and you're not telling your story, when you get away from that so deep and so far away from that, you just become like white noise out there on Facebook. That's what I tell my team. I have tried so hard in the last several months not to post any graphics, unless it's something like the 15% code or something we put out there. But I try not to use any graphics. I use a lot more pictures of myself and my husband and my kid. And I just talk about why I love this stuff so much. And because that does several things for the people who are watching you. Number one, let me just say that I did have a business page when I started, and I deleted that because Chris McCall said this at Super Saturday in Orlando here. And I just thought it made so much sense. He said, when somebody joins my team, if their audience is here on their Facebook page, but they want to go start a business page with just for purposes of posting there, so they don't bug anybody on their page, or just post all this Plexus stuff on their personal page. He said, you're just not that committed, and it's so true. When somebody comes to my Facebook, they're going to see exactly, to me, in a nutshell, of who I am. I come from a law enforcement military background. My husband, my son are the center of my universe, and Plexus, because that's really who I am. So it's not just a job for me. Just like law enforcement was not just a job for me, it was a big part of who I am. And I view Plexus the same way. And when I accepted that, because for so long, when these people come along and shake your confidence in the beginning, and you don't know what you're doing, when I accepted that, I'm like, hey, this is my career now, and I'm a professional, and this is my passion. And it just I don't know what it was, but I turned a corner and I never looked back. There's something, and it's very hard to this. It's so hard. And let me tell you guys, when I make a post about myself, especially when it's a heart, very personal, vulnerable post, I still cringe when I hit send because it's just not in my nature to put myself out there like that. I mean, honestly, still today, it's just not. But I do it. And there's something about when you can be truly authentic and just be your true self in this business, there's something magical that happens because people are no longer looking at you like you're bothering them. They're no longer looking at you like you're just trying to make a sale. They know that you walk the walk. They know you're a product of the product. They know it's your passion, and they'll trust you and they will reach out to you. It just puts you in a whole new light, in my opinion. So I've tried to really get my team in that mindset that I want to look at your posts and I want to know why you love this stuff. I don't care, because I have so many girls that are like, well, I'm not good at taking selfies. That's fine. Take a picture of your drink. I have girls that are still at work during the day and they take a picture of their desk with their drink in it, but their kids are, in frames on their desk in the background behind their drink, and they're like, this is my why. And just something like that is just it just really impacts people differently than when you're just posting a graphic like, hey, join my team, $39.95. You know what I mean? It's like people they will start to tune you out. And if you don't, you might think, well, I don't have a lot of mutual friends with other people. A lot of Plexus people have their posts on public, on a public setting. So you even liking somebody else's posts, it just kind of puts this thing out there like, geez, it's like one brain, one Plexus for sure, because we're all saying the same thing. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Somebody like Celeste, who's a leader in the company, can make a post and everybody follows suit, and we should follow people like Celeste. But don't get so lost in that you forget to showcase you and why you love this stuff so much. And that's really been such a huge difference for me. And other than that, just getting my team really excited and being bold when somebody signs up now and trying to set the pace. When I get somebody that joins now and they say, well, I just want to try this stuff, and because I need results first, or I want to try it for 30 days, I tell them, I'm like, well, listen, I have zero doubt that you're going to love this stuff, and I have zero doubt that it's going to work for you. So it's up to you. Whenever you want to start making money, you just let us know. It is up to you how fast you want to do this, but it is not a matter of the products working. So when I start to tell people that, I have girls now on my team that go silver before they even get their products, and they never did that when I started. And it's because we just set a different tone. So there's a lot to be said for that. It takes a while, I feel like, to get a lot of excitement going on a team page when you start it. And I'll just say real quick, if you start your own team page, make sure you set it so that you have to approve the post. And that's only because you might get somebody out there not trying to be negative, but they'll throw something out there, and then it just, it can be misinterpreted or viewed wrong or whatever. So I use it strictly for positivity, support, encouragement. I make sure everybody gets announced as a new ambassador individually. We do these things like we give shout outs one day a week where I'll just say, hey, and this could be somebody who told me they don't want to work the business. So I'll just give a shout out to so-and-so who signed their first ambassador today, and it gets them really excited. And if I know somebody on my team has been down and out and kind of bummed out, hey, I'm just giving so-and-so a shout out because she's awesome, or this person did 1,000 in PV or whatever. It's just people, it costs nothing to praise people, and people love that. So I will just throw that out there that don't let any negativity, just squash it, move it aside, and just move past it. I don't care who you are or what level you're on, or if you're upline or downline. Negativity is the quickest thing that'll kill your business, kill a team. So you just, you don't allow for it. You just keep moving on. Somebody, and I don't remember who it was, I want to say it was, I paid to go to this network marketing mastermind last November. If you guys can go to that this year, please do, because that was something I felt like I really needed to learn more and build more confidence, was in the network marketing industry itself. So they had this big event in Orlando last year. And when I went, one of the speakers there, and I don't remember who it was, he said, you kind of have to look at your team like you have a team of volunteers. He said, I know that they're all getting paid, but the moment that it stops being fun and people stop enjoying things, he says, they're going to be out the door. They're either going to quit or they're just going to run and take off and do this on their own or whatever. So, he said, you really need to make it, an enjoyable, fun, just something with a lot of camaraderie and excitement. And so that's what I've tried to do with my team, and it's really helped. So I could go on. You guys know I could talk forever, but I didn't know if you wanted to open it up for questions, or if you have a certain time limit or anything.
No, I mean, gosh.
Thank you so much. That was such great, inspiration.
I just took 2 pages of notes.
Oh, I'm a fast talker. I would have slowed down if I knew you were right. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I mean, I just,
good.
Everything that you said, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
True.
So it's so inspirational, and everything that you says resonates, with what we've been trying to push with our team. Be genuine. That's like the underlying theme of our team is just be genuine, be who you are, and people will be attracted to you rather than being attracted to a prize. You don't want people to be attracted to some unattainable or attainable prize. You want them to be attracted to who you are and who you're representing. And I mean, you just like blew that out of the water. I loved it. So,
well, it took me 2 years to figure that out, so I'm happy I can share it with you.
That's what I'm talking about. Leave it to somebody else to go through the trenches and then take that information and just run with it and skip the hard stuff. Now we just get to move forward. So
and I just will say, for anybody still listening, is please don't beat yourself up regardless of where you are at or what rank you are or how long it took you to get there. One of the, I've been added to a couple of Jules pages after I hit Emerald, and Rebecca Davis, who's a diamond, made a post in one of them and said, if it took you basically longer than 2 years, can you comment in this thread? Because the people who fast track and do it like crazy, like in 6 months, are always highlighted, and they're always the ones we talk about, we want to know. And I'm like, well, I don't think 2 years is shabby. There was a lot of people who kind of had like this tone, like, well, it took me this long because, and I'm thinking, are you crazy? Right. Comparison truly is the thief of joy, like they say, and everybody, I wouldn't trade my journey for anything. And so don't beat yourself up. The great thing about this business is you seriously can pick up and just take off tomorrow. So don't feel like, man, it's taken me this far and it hasn't happened yet. It will, and it can. You just have to, just pick yourself up, and don't let yourself get so bogged down that you feel, because I'm telling you, the only people who aren't successful with Plexus are the ones that quit. Truly, in my opinion, the ones that don't give it, 10% of effort. I mean, barely, and then they walk way too soon. So if I can do this, any of you guys can, seriously. And Kyle, you guys are awesome, and you have a bunch of great people on your team, the ones I've met. So I have no doubt.
Yeah, no.
I can't wait to see all you guys at convention.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting. We can't wait. Awesome. Well, thank
you, Stephanie.
Yeah, we're going to just end it on that.
My pleasure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was amazing. And I thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thanks to everybody who was on the call tonight with Forever Pink Live. Thanks, Stephanie.
Guys. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Talk to you soon.